Right, well, we're standing in the barn, Steve.
We are.
But what's the reason of why we're in the barn at this moment in time? What we're going to tell everybody about it?
Right, so the next job we need to do in the house, everybody knows, is the steel on the wall.
Yes.
Problem is, before we do that, we've got to understand where the electrics go. Moving on,
Okay.
we've got quite a lot of stuff in the house.
You could say. In fact, everything that we've got, predominantly for building and everything, the house has been used as the storage, which is what you're saying.
Well, some of the mess I'm going to be making is going to be with a grinder and with the motor picker, which means we're going to have quite a lot of dust.
We saw the dust.
And we are forever we're forever cleaning machines, so it seems. And if we could have a self-contained unit in the barn, doesn't have to be the size of the barn, but we are developing the barn anyway. There's no point in having a metal container on site. Just for the logistics of trying to get it here and everything, it's not easy to get a container up to Rapino anyway. So we're going to use let's say a quarter of the barn, so the downstairs unit, so that's behind me. So what we've decided to do is build some concrete walls.
Yes.
Easy enough, concrete blocks, super price at the moment. So that'll be a cement and sand mix and brick wall it.
And the good thing is, basically, we're going to start to create a structure here in the barn which will actually help and support these pillars, because the pillars you can probably see behind me, well, they've stood here for a very, very long time, and they need supporting, don't they?
Yeah, it's a good point. I've done most of the repairs on the pillars. They have got foundation blocks on which we've revealed. We have put in a seismic foundation with all the steel. Now I do have some pictures of all the foundation work being done. I'm just not sure where they are, but I'll try and
look for them.
We have thousands of pictures, so I'll try and find them, because it was 14 tons of cement that went into the floor, so it's more or less 12 to 14 inches thick, the floor, and that's got steel.
That big machine arrived, didn't it?
We had two cement lorries. One was the mixer and the other one was the big pourer. So that's how that was done. All with steel. So it's already done for the seismic planning.
Requirements.
The requirements. It's not just the house that needs seismic requirements. It's any building around your house. I'm not talking about a shed, but a barn of this stature, which is nearly as big as the house. We need to consider that it needs to be standing in the event of an earthquake. I'm sure it will be. It's probably been here more than 100 years. The bricks are what they call their vecchio mattoni. Yeah.
But this structure of these pillars is actually common within our area, isn't it?
Yeah, mainly with all the Abruzzese farmhouses. Talking about Abruzzo, you'll get one of these barns that looks like this with these columns. But obviously, what people do is they fill them in with various stuff that they collect throughout the year, or they may have terracotta blocks. Or it depends what you're using it for. It could be farm animals, it could be for machinery.
But really, going back to, which is what I do tend to say that quite a bit actually, going back to.
I like to go forward.
I know, but going back to why we're standing in the barn is, the important thing is, although we've said to you, we are going to do the work, and Steve has bought the steel for the interior of the house, we cannot move forward immediately with that. Yeah. We actually have to create ourselves a storage, and the storage for us is going to be the barn, as Steve said. Yeah. And it in a way it's fantastic, because for me I sort of feel as if we're kind of getting two things done at the same time. We're getting the house moving a bit further forward, and we're going to get the barn moving forward.
Well, that is the plan. When you're working in a location like this, where obviously we've got vehicles coming onto the site, it's a building site. It just doesn't particularly look like a building site. It looks more like an archaeological dig sometimes.
But
let's say that we're at a point now that where we have moved on, where we are getting control of the land. So it's three things really for me. It's the house, it's the barn and the land, because we've got to think about drainage with all three things. We've got to think about electrics with all three things. The reason why we can stand here now is because...
Oh, because I did the cleaning!
Because Boxing Day, Lynn had an epiphany. Epiphany?
Epiphany? Put it this way, I had a clear out. I think that's probably the good word.
I'm not sure you to say Boxing Day clear out. Anyway, Lynn said, I'll clear the barn. I never said anything because I just thought, well, we'll see how that goes. All of a sudden, the barn is being cleared. Listen, folks, this was our dumping ground for just about everything.
There was a lot of wine bottles that you did take to the bottle bank.
Don't whine on about that. So this is now pretty clean, so I'm going to show you a little sweep around the barn in a minute with a Steadicam, and just what we've done is we've kept the essential things here that we can move easily, so the steel, the scaffolding bits and bobs.
Yeah, but I mean the fact is, over the next couple of weeks and however long it takes us, you're going to actually see some development going on within this barn, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, if it looks like we've taken our eye off the ball, off the house, unfortunately when there's only two of you, you have to move with the weather here. We are supposed to be, we're mid-January, just before mid-January, and we're supposed to be in winter. I could be standing here in a t-shirt at the moment.
I couldn't quite, I've got a little bit more clothing on than Steve.
So it's coolish, but it's beautiful. The mountains behind us are covered in snow, first snow of the year. The only thing is, I have a funny feeling that we're going to pay for this very, very hot summer by having for some reason, I don't know why, in the back of my mind I think we're going to get a lot of snow. And I think it's going to be February.
The time that we normally get snow last year was the end of February, beginning of March. But actually, today's vlog is not just about the barn. We also want to show you, Steve actually has been busy. He's created some doors to cover his new entrance.
Now we've got things moving in other areas where obviously we're constantly investigating the finishing process, the end game, if you like. We're not there, anywhere near there at the moment, but there are things that will be happening where we've got to say, yes, this is what we want and this is where we want it. This is really one of the first times we've ever done that, apart from the original planning of the house.
And I mean also, if you sort of stick with us with this vlog, we're going to take Button for a walk because she desperately needs a walk this morning. So sort of watch the walk with Button. You might like that area. One
of the things I'd like to bring up is obviously subscribe, like and tick the box. That'd be lovely because it helps the channel grow. But what are the more serious questions that people ask us during the year we've just had? We've only been on YouTube for 1 year, actually today, which is quite something. And one of the more popular questions is really about the building process, the hardships of the administrative processes. It's not easy in Italy, as a lot of people will allude to, but what you need is patience, guts and a bit of fortitude.
Drive.
I like the word fortitude.
Fortitude.
Yeah, don't stop in the face of adversity. Don't stop because somebody says you can't do it. Just get on with it. Each day move forward.
But take it as an adventure. It's a crazy adventure. Take it as an adventure. Make the most of it.
Yeah, I mean,
every day is different.
I could be sitting there watching a soap opera in the evening, or I could be working on my Italian barn in the middle of the Italian countryside. I know what I prefer to do.
But also, you know, we are doing our house. We are doing the vegetable garden. We go for walks. We go to different places. We go to the beach. We are living our lifestyle as well as restoring. We actually have to have some fun and some crazy times.
I've got Lynn's soapbox.
I tell you what, we do.
On that note, what we're going to do is go and have a look at a couple of things that I've been working over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
We're trying to get some of the stonework and the woodwork that we've just done sort of finished.
I think people say, don't blabber on, just get on with it. Let's go over there and show.
Well, you lead the way and I'll follow.
Okay, let's go. So we're going over here, folks, and you might find we're doing something that I did on the vegetable garden. Well, I've now brought you over to where I said Steve's actually created these doors behind us that you can see, and guess what? he used my method that I used of the olive oil mixture.
Well, it's
You
proved
did olive oil mixture and vinegar.
because it proved it worked.
Yeah.
We, as you know, we had all this olive oil left over about 10 years ago. We didn't understand fully how much olive oil we would get, and we were left over quite a lot. And it's been with us, and now we can still use that oil for the purposes of finishing. Now, obviously what Lynn did was investigate what kind of mix is, what, 50-50?
It said basically 50-50.
So 50 of what and 50 of what?
Well, a percentage, what they said was a cup of oil. You don't have to use olive oil. We've used olive oil. You can, yeah, you can use a vegetable oil mixed with a vinegar, and we've used white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar.
So in Italy they call it aceto.
Yeah, aceto.
It's cheap as chips, and it mixes. It doesn't mix straight away with the olive oil. What you have to do is you have to make sure
it's mixed.
It's mixed, you know, with a fork or a mixer, and you get quite a lot of bubbles in it. But it does eventually mix together like a mayonnaise, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's like making a salad dressing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like making a vinaigrette.
Yeah. So let's talk about. So what we've done is we've coated the outside wood. We did this yesterday, and we're going to put some footage in of that. But if you rub your finger down it, you'll still find it wet.
Yeah. You still look, if you can see.
Now, whilst this works, it works over a period of time. So what we don't expect to do is get up in the morning and this is all going to be dry. I'm going to pop a video of and try and really get to the grain of the wood, and you'll see it's not damp wet. You can actually rub your finger along the edge of it, and you don't really get. It's only on the smoother bits where it hasn't sunk in as much. So there's no time limit to when it's going to dry. This is the long game.
Yeah.
But what it has done is initially protected it.
What I would say is, though, Steve, when we did the raised beds, we used exactly the same mixture, but we were creating those raised beds. The last lot of raised beds we did was in the heat of the summer, so actually the mixture of the olive oil and the vinegar dried very, very quickly, because it was the heat was really hot.
So the drying time, it depends on the density of the wood,
yes,
and how warm it is outside, and how thick you put that coat on, depending whether you've got more olive oil than vinegar. So
ideally it's 50-50 mix.
Yeah, and make sure that you use it after you've done your woodwork, because otherwise you're going to be waiting for your wood to dry.
And also, if you've got a dog like we have, Button,
good.
Perhaps do it when Button's not nearby, because Button loves olive oil. Because
as you're painting it on, she'll be licking it off.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know, I think I've probably mentioned before, we actually give Button olive oil every single day. It's included in her food, and she loves it. So the fact is, for Button, when she could smell the olive oil going on here, even though it was old olive oil, it's still a good olive oil that we were using for this. But anyway, we're going to probably take you into the vegetable garden a little later during this vlog, because I want to show you what we've been growing. And you can probably see the wood there that has sort of changed colour over the period of time. And this will actually change colour. And these are the doors that you're having at the moment.
These are temporary doors, so these aren't lasting. A couple of people have sent messages in about a transom down on the bottom. Obviously we're looking for...
Yeah, that's true.
We're actually looking at the moment for a footstone, one that's 1.8 metres long and 200 mil by 200 mil. That's not normal, so we've got to wait until it comes our way. I've got a quarry that's looking out, but it's whether they call me or not. I might have to go and visit them a few times to see if they've got something that will fit. I just want one stone, not a series of stones.
I was going to say, we spoke at one stage, could Steve create it as in two stones? And in fact, that kind of takes us on to some of the other work that Steve's actually been doing. If you followed our progress when Steve created this new entrance for us, he had to use stone, but he put stone together. And where he's put the stone together, he wants it to blend as if it's all one stone.
Yeah.
So that's immediately behind you, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, so I think you maybe just catch here.
I think they can just see.
Yeah, remember we glued these together. Well, there's a tiny gap where the glue
It's
is.
the two bits, isn't it?
Again, we'll show a little bit more video. But with the stone dust that was left over, we've got some exterior wood glue. So exterior wood glue specifically for the outside, not inside, it's got to be outside. Mixed together with the stone dust, it makes like a resin.
Is it sort of not a paste?
Yeah.
A pasty.
Yeah. It makes a paste, but what you need is enough stone in it, because wood glue naturally goes transparent even if it's white to start with. So you need enough stone in it, but not too much, because you need to be able to spread it like
so it's the
butter.
stone dust that you collected.
Yeah. So
gets mixed with it.
I did a few different mixes, and actually what I found out was the correct mix, and it works perfectly.
What was the correct mix for you then?
Well, it's sort of half glue, half stone.
Oh, 50-50, like the olive oil and vinegar.
It's not exact, but it's more or less.
No, yeah.
But what you're making is like a hard butter.
Oh, okay.
So you push it in and it stays. It doesn't drip, it doesn't move. It's very solid in its texture. You can scrape it after, and then so you've got minimal finishing when you come to finish it over.
And I mean, what I can see here is there is an area where you think that's just one stone, but you and I know that there's been two stones put together there, and you've put the sealant in between. If you are really interested and you want to know a little bit more, we have started Patreon. We are very new to it. I'm going to post every day from now on. From this video forward, I'm going to create a diary on Patreon. For those of you who follow us on Facebook and our Facebook group, Bramblety, you know that I religiously post every single day to you. I tell you a little bit about our lifestyle, I tell you a little bit about the area and our restoration of Bramblety. So I'm going to tell you even more if you're going to join Patreon.
Yeah, no, I think it's also somewhere where we can put the sort of bloopers. We have the most outrageous bloopers, good and bad. I even have to vet the bloopers, to be fair.
What, the bloopers of the bloopers?
Yeah, filming with Lynn is quite something.
I think it's a challenge with Button.
Yeah.
I'm not the challenge, it's Button.
What they say,
you.
Don't work with animals and children. And the other thing is you'll be able to find out pieces of information about the house, about us, on Patreon that we wouldn't normally share to the wider public, I guess.
And what we want to do is we want to do a question and answer sort of vlog Patreon for the Patreon people, don't we?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's just get Miss Button ready and go for
walk.
our walk.
See you later.
Come on, my baby! Come on, mummy! Let's go!
Right, so we're just taking Button for her sort of normal walk. Just going down the back of the house. There's a small driveway. And this is where we put the Scarico in, so that's the waste pipe for the property. So that was quite a thing. I think what Lynn wants to show me is a field here.
This field, if we can go over here, Steve, where Button's going to come.
Yeah, okay. Keep control of her, because she's capable of
can actually see
covering some ground.
This devastation in the ground is all due to the wild boar.
Yeah, it's not big moles, folks. This is wild boar.
No, it's not big mole by any means.
So,
I'm going to go and get Button.
Yeah.
And you might want to have a look at this.
So what the Chingali do, they ravage the ground around the olive trees. And they're looking for, obviously, root vegetables, roots of plants. And they really can make quite a mess. I mean, this in front of me looks like it's been someone starting to dig it over, but actually that's just the snouts and the hooves of the pigs. We've got a feeling that Button's presence where we are stops this from happening, because she instantly knows and then puts a signal up, so she barks, and I think the pigs know she's an Abruzzo, so she has a very, very strong bark, and it seems to deter the pigs from coming on the land now, until we get a proper fence up, that is. So anyway, we're walking through one of Button's many walks. So in the distance we've got the Myla Mountains, and Lynn's run off trying to find Button, because Button's backyard, this is what she has to play in, which she absolutely loves. The views from here are lovely. So we're just going to walk through and see if we can pick up Button on the way. On the way, I'm sure she'll be around. Yeah, she's to my right hand side. To my right hand side, Lynn.
Sorry?
She's our 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Somebody's cooked. Now what kind of food it is, I don't know. But there's something here. So we'll just make sure she stays away from it. A dish. Looks like one of our dishes actually, but it's not. Could be poison. Just stay away from it. Yeah, oh, that's a good idea.
Right, so this is the field that comes out from the back of the house, and the small tracks for tractors and such like. And we generally walk round to the left here.
This way!
I'm going this way, Button. I'm going this way.
Come on!
Where's she gone? Nobody knows. She's in that lot there. But come on, we're going to go this way. Generally, if I say to Button we're going this way, she does flip up her head when she's standing listening. Or, do you want to come with me is a good one. Do you want to come with me?
I can hear her.
Do you want to come with me? Because she thinks she's going somewhere else. But I'm just going to hold the camera on, see if she comes belting out somewhere. It's normally at warp speed. Button, come on! There you go. And she's out.
Here we go.
So she doesn't go too far away from us. She does know the land very well. Yeah, so she's just looked straight down the lens. She is a little camera shy.
Should we walk through this section?
Yep. Come on, But, let's go. Come on, let's go. Right, so she's now walking with us, potentially. There's a little opening at the end of this part here. It's very, very brambly. They literally you probably see Lynn go over in a minute. They get caught round your ankles and you're over. They didn't give you a second chance. So it's quite dense forest here. This is just saying, it's quite dense forest here. Okay. Right, so it's a beautiful day. It's about 16 degrees and it's 12th of January at the moment. It's lovely. Hopefully it stays like this, but it's probably not going to.
Different tracks in the mud.
Yeah.
But it's not wet enough at the moment.
Yeah, so what Lynn is talking about is, just in case we don't pick her sound up, is that you can see clearly in the mud the animal prints, the paw marks. So the chingali, the deer, and that, in the main, that's what we've got. We have got a wolf up here. Sounds scary, but not particularly scared of a wolf. It seems to be quite sensitive and doesn't come too close. It's a long-legged, gangly, grey, dog-shaped animal. It's beautiful in my eyes. I love it. So this is a little track you can see here. Button's just going past. So what we have got is we've got an app of footprints, so we can tell what the animal is. And if we find something, obviously we'll put it on the camera. Something obvious, that is. But Bart, we're going this way. Come on. Okay, Button's. Yeah, Button's just coming by. So there's a crevasse to my right, and there's more fields to my left. And directly in front is the Maela Mountains. It's just perfect for Button. She doesn't need to be on the lead. She can roam free. She won't get herself into any trouble, or shouldn't do. Probably the odd splinter here and there, I think. That's what we've been experiencing of recent weeks anyway. But she lets you get those out, and she wants to explore.
also useful to know that in amongst all of this wooded area, there are patches of olive trees which we're probably going to come across very soon.
Yeah.
And they're owned by people that live in the village or one of the nearby villages. And some of them are just left. They're
Yeah.
not even picking their olives when it comes to the season.
Yeah.
And for us, this is just such a wonderful area.
But also,
to walk.
we're not mushroom experts, but they are all over the place.
The fungi are in different places.
The fungi are everywhere. If you're a fungi expert, you'd be in fungi heaven here.
Now we've got a great story to tell about fungi. We have some really good friends who are Swiss and Italian, and he loves to collect the fungi. He goes into the woods.
Fungi geek.
A fungi geek. Oh, that's a good word. So anyway, we have to tell him he's a fungi geek. So we get often mushrooms and different kinds of fungi that grow in our olive grove. Well, if I could say, Steve decided to play a trick on him. He's got an app on his phone, and he puts the phone nearby to the fungi, and he finds out what kind it is. So Steve got red nail varnish, not his, mine, put little spots on top of these toadstools, mushrooms, whatever you want to call them, and then he grated some black pepper on the top.
These were mushrooms that were already been disturbed.
They were just sort of lying
around,
in the ground, weren't they?
Yeah.
And anyway, when he came to have something to eat with us, he just sort of came across them, and he got his phone, got really close, got his phone on it. And his phone wasn't indicating any kind of mushrooms until he got closer and he realised what it was.
I think the only person that had any fun out of it was me.
Well, we definitely had fun.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I've got to find Button.
Button's come back. So there she is. Very difficult to film Button in... Oh, there you go.
Maybe not. Come on, we're going this way.
She just loves to run and run. Which is
her backyard.
Yeah.
This is her backyard.
Yeah, strangely enough, it's exactly what I described it as.
Did you?
Yeah, Button's backyard.
We
BBY.
normally carry our sticks.
We do.
Today I haven't got my stick.
Well, yeah, I've got the Steadicam on me, so I need a hand free, and I don't want to have the other hand holding a stick, so that's why I haven't got mine either. But we've got some nice bamboo sticks. And they're really just to ward off any unwanted animals that may come too close.
I think we'll follow the trail down, Steve.
Yeah, we're going to go, so still going towards the mountain. I don't know whether this is going to come out or not, but there is snow on the mountain. It's right in front of you. It's here, here and here. So this is where the ski lift is. If I could get in close enough, you'll see the ski lift going up. But Lynn's just one of the more hidden olive groves. One of the more hidden. She's there, Lynn. One of the more hidden olive groves. You can see Button in the distance, I hope. Yep, we should be able to. As we're coming up on it. So you'll never see these unless you were in the air, or unless you were doing what we're doing. Okay, so they're not in... they're in disrepair, which is really sad for the olive tree. We've got broken ones there. We've got overgrown ones here. So this is not how I... Yeah, I'm coming. It's obviously not what we do. We keep our trees clear completely. Right, okay. So if we turn around to the right hand side, Lynn's walking through an olive grove, but you'll never see this unless you do what we're doing, or you go overhead with a drone or something, I don't know.
They're quite, look, they're much wider apart.
Yeah, what the rule of thumb is here is that the local farmers like their trees to be 5 metres apart. I guess that's optimal spacing to get as many trees in but not too close to each other. And I think that's probably 7 to 8 metre spacing.
Quite the distance.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow, is that nice?
There's the lovely Miss Button,
Did you have a nice time?
who thoroughly enjoys her walks.
Should we go back home?
Is that good? Did
Go
you
in Mummy's garden?
want some chicken?
Like some chick.
Oh, look at that. She's even
yeah.
playing to the camera now. So Button will tell you she wants to eat something or whether she likes a particular food by licking round.
She licks her lips.
And she also does a propeller tail, so it goes round in a circle rather than just flap up and down. So that's nice. Nice shot.
But we also have to make sure when we take her back that all of the little things
Yeah, she
not
gets,
on her fur.
more or less she gets a brush every day. And she likes that as well. She likes to stay clean. She also likes to get very dirty. If she finds a puddle, she'll be in it. But because she has Teflon fur, she cleans within. You would never know. If she was filthy, a couple of hours, she'll be back to this white colour again. It's very strange fur she's got. I'm sure it's waterproof.
We had a lovely walk, didn't we? Did we have a lovely walk? We did. We're going to come and have a look at the vegetables. Come this way. Come on, let's show Dad the vegetables. Oh, we've had a fabulous walk, and Button's still not tired. Maybe Steve and I might be tired, but I just wanted to show you some of the vegetables that's growing. We're now mid-January, and this is the winter crop, as you can see.
Yeah, I'm just coming out of that sun, Lynn. It's bright as anything.
It is beautiful, the sun. Yeah. But really, if you look, this wonderful feathery green that you can see is fennel. This here is fennel. Look at that. Super. We've already had a salad with the fennel.
Look at the size of it, Lynn.
And we had salad, it's big.
Size of your fist. Put your fist against the big one.
Okay, this
here,
one.
Yeah,
look.
Gives you an idea of how big that is.
That's good. And it's grown. First time I've ever grown it. And it's grown fabulous. I can now smell that aniseedy licorice. Even on my gloves you could smell the taste. But when you actually cut into it and you make it really, really thin, that I did in the salad with orange, it didn't really taste that licoricey, that aniseedy taste, did it, Steve?
It wasn't overpowering. You could taste it, but it wasn't overpowering.
No, it wasn't overpowering at all. Now, I'm actually going to make something tonight with some salmon, and I haven't really said anything to Steve about this, but I think I want to try and do something with salmon with roasted fennel.
Have you got any salmon growing?
Well, no, the salmon hasn't been growing. Did you go fishing for it?
No.
No, but we've got 2 nice pieces of salmon.
Well.
So I'm going to have some fennel to go with it.
Okay.
And I think, what about this one? This is kind of like not too big.
Yeah, that looks lovely.
That looks kind of good. Now, if you look, oh, they're pretty tough. Not sure whether I can pull it out. Oh my goodness. I think I might have to cut this off, Steve. I might have to get a knife and just cut that there. Yeah. Because that is really, really tough. I did exactly the same last year. Oh, look at that.
Bring that close up.
Yeah, look.
Just hold it there.
Look at that. So we're going to have roasted fennel.
I can smell it from here.
With the salmon this evening.
I can smell that from here.
You can smell it, can't you?
It's like perfume, isn't it? Buttons come for a whiff. A whifter.
It smells fabulous. Just to give you a very quick run round the garden, and it could be a run round the garden. Can you manage a run round the garden, Steve?
Yeah, I can. Bear with me.
Lettuce here is not doing so good, but it's still there.
Okay.
Spinach.
Okay.
Nice spinach. And the most interesting thing I find, if Steve can jump across this way, look at the strawberries. We've actually got strawberries. Yeah, you can see them. Look at these strawberries. They're all good. They're growing. Look, there's quite a few of them as well.
12th of January.
And they're a reasonable size. You can turn the camera around and I can go over this strawberry patch, because immediately behind you is broccoli. Here we go.
Here, bub.
Look at the broccoli growing. It might be.
It's all going pizza on me.
It might be small.
Where's the middle?
There's the middle. There's my broccoli.
Put your finger on the middle, because it's.
You can see there. Look.
There it is. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Now I have a feeling if you look closely, this might be the sprouting broccoli. Can you see here, Steve? Look, just look here. Can you see the little bits of broccoli there growing in between?
Yeah.
Tiny, tiny bits. So this is probably what's called sprouting broccoli, although I didn't know when I bought it.
Oh, okay.
Now, come behind me because we're all interested in the Brussels sprouts. Everybody knows that we didn't have Brussels sprouts from the garden for Christmas. So that is the beginning of the Brussels sprouts growing. Yeah, the leaf coverage is to keep these plants warm for when we do get some snow.
Yeah.
Also, the leaf will actually break down and provide nutrients for the soil. And I'm going to have to go very soon, Steve, before it starts to get dark, to get another wheelbarrow full of this leaf mould.
Okay.
And that's roughly where the wooded area was where we took Button.
Yep.
And leaf mould is fantastic. About 75% of the woods, the breakdown of the leaves, the dead wood and everything goes back into the soil, and it just helps everything. And that's what we've got on our raised beds at the moment. Should we go get some leaf? You see, when you say, do you want to come with me? You want to come with Mummy? Should we go? I think she's coming with me.
She's going with you. Definitely.
She's coming with me with some leaves. We have to take this. We do. We do. You're coming with me. Wait a minute. Let me see. Hold on a moment. We're going to go. Are we going? Where are we going? Ready? Go on, go. But where are we going? We're going this way. That's a good girl. Come on, let's go. Let's get the leaves. Come on, let's go. This way.
You don't need a spade. You don't need a spade.
Oh, I need the rake. Oh, I can do it by hand.
Do it by hand.